Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman with FistShark Marketing, here to remind you that this show exists thanks to the financial help of its fans. For less than the cost of an average political campaign contribution, you can help us give you a false sense of hope that something good will eventually come of all this. Just visit patreon.com/FistShark or click the big Patreon button at FistShark.com for more details. And thanks for listening.
Look, all I'm saying is we can't spend 5 figures on the search party. It's too much money, Jim. I know you think he's important, and I don't disagree that he's important.
He's a cornerstone of our business, and if Corey Feldman is lost out in the city still, he doesn't know the city, Conrad. He doesn't know the city. Bret Michaels just left him in that cash cab and went off to do his own thing. And when we found the cash cab, it had been stripped of its leather, we think Corey ate it, and abandoned. He's out there somewhere. He could be, skinny, like a dog on a Facebook video, for all we know by now.
He has never failed to find his way back to the bog. We have absolutely no reason to think it's going to be any different this time. Yeah, sure, it's been 3 weeks, and usually he crops up by this point, but I'm sure he'll find his way there. It's gonna be okay. You're with me on this, right, Doll?
Well, I think that's a good point. We should throw this open to the Doll. Doll, we're at an impasse here. I think we should send out a search and rescue team for Corey Feldman. Conrad wants to be a heartless bastard about it. What do you think, Doll?
I don't know. I don't want to be a heartless bastard about it. I'm just... All right, fine.
Yeah, just
Doll...
let the Doll make her own mind up.
You know, I don't think I've heard the Doll say anything.
She's not been contributing to the discussions. I'm beginning to wonder what the senior partners saw in her that they decided to go above our heads and hire someone from their own Rolodex. Apparently, she comes highly recommended, but she has just sat there. I'm not even sure she can hear us.
I haven't seen a response the entire time she's been in the room. I don't think I've seen the Doll move once.
No.
The paperwork has started to pile up.
I've been wondering about that. I've noticed that over the course of the 2 weeks she's been here, the documents around her are just becoming fire hazards as they grow as large papery towers around her. I keep giving her legal papers. I mean, she's supposed to be dealing with Kanye's latest lawsuit against us. But she's just sat there. There's I want to say 58 legal documents, all different lawsuits from Kanye. And not one of them has been addressed. Not even the one where he accused us of stealing his lobsters.
I thought that, everybody's got their own system, right? I like everything sort of neatly organized in stacks and, this pile for this pile for that. So I get, everybody's different. I thought maybe the Doll was just a little bit seemingly disorganized, but had a system.
If I'm honest, and I don't want to sound bigoted or close-minded in any way, but I'm beginning to think that the Doll is a doll.
You mean not a person?
Not a person, a thing of plastic and fake horsehair.
Now that's... You gotta be careful about that, because, there's a lot of prejudice against people who, may have had some work done, and just trying to sort of keep their appearance a certain way, or have a feeling need to have surgery to.
I'm not against that. That's been one of FistShark Medical's best sidelines. I mean, again, if you subtract the legal proceedings from the botched ones, we still come out ahead at a hefty profit. I'm not trying to make a statement or anything. I mean, literally. When the senior partners sent down a note that said, "We've got your new replacement executive, it's the Doll," and I walked in here and saw the Doll, I'm beginning to think that the clues were there. I mean, Am I being too literal-minded at the moment?
You mean to tell me that whole time that I thought that, she was just being kind of cold, actually a doll?
Which makes me feel better, because I really did think she just wasn't that into me. But clearly my seduction game is still on point. It's just she's a doll.
I thought she was really judgy,
Yeah.
Just sort of stared with those cold eyes and,
No pupils in those eyes. They are just black orbs.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, like, the fact that she doesn't have a mouth would explain why she doesn't talk.
That should have been my first clue.
It was
about
clue
the not
number
talking.
one. Yeah. The label that says "Made in China" sticking out of her ass doesn't help either.
No.
That doesn't help the case against her not being a doll.
This does sort of. I mean, what do we do?
She was picked by the senior partners. Now, I don't want to go upstairs and tell them we can't work with this colleague because she is literally a doll.
They vetted the doll.
Oh, yeah, it went past their approval process, which is more stringent than regular hires. It involves drinking from the chalice and everything.
There must be some reason, then. There must be some purpose.
What would they see? And please, I don't ever want to claim that I speak for or understand or intimately know or am even allowed to look at the senior partners in any way. But what would they see in her that we are clearly not seeing? What does she bring as a replacement executive? First of all, let's look at her limitations. As a doll, she cannot move.
That's correct. Cannot move.
Speak.
Cannot speak. Can't say a word. No.
Fill out legal forms.
That's clearly the case.
Talk to Dean Cain when he's had another idea involving cats.
Well, again, that comes under the speaking thing. So
really, all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the job involves convincing Dean Cain not to do things, not to go through with ideas. So all of that is out. We'll call that shelved until we can find a way for the doll to communicate in another way. Does she do math? Because my math's bad. I'm not a numbers guy.
I've never seen the doll demonstrate any skill or proclivity towards it.
Hey, doll, can you do math or not?
She
ain't gonna listen because she's a doll.
And can't speak.
Because she's a doll.
Couldn't respond.
Yeah. I forgot for a moment. How have we not noticed this for 2 weeks?
I've been busy. Certainly. I've had a lot to do. A lot of Ricky Lake.
Yeah.
A lot of Ricky Lake in my apartment. I don't understand.
We got to get through those episodes. You got to find out who the baby daddy is.
It's so hard to tear yourself away. So that's why I haven't really been in the office much this week.
I thought that when Doris was telling me, like, why have the senior partners hired a literal doll? I thought she was being allegorical. I get very confused between what is literal and what is allegorical. What's a metaphor? What's a fable? I thought the whole thing about the lion with the thorn in its paw, I thought that was, like, based on a true story. And I was like, where is this strong mouse? And how can we harness its power?
So you just thought Doris was being catty.
Yeah. I didn't realize that when she said, why have you hired a literal doll? She meant, why have you hired a literal doll?
Right.
I mean, it's not even haunted, I don't think.
It doesn't seem haunted.
That's it. You think if a doll mysteriously appeared on on a chair, you'd be expecting the payoff, right? Would be some, spooky / hilarious haunting that would go and contribute to some creepy mythos somewhere, But I don't think that's where this is going.
No,
I think that's the ultimate disappointment, that the doll that we've been talking about for the past 10 minutes is quite literally a literal doll.
Yeah, it's nothing particularly remarkable about it.
I'm going to poke it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go poke it. Hold on. No, it just fell over.
Yep.
It's
just there on the floor now.
Yeah.
Just a doll.
Just a doll. I think I'm gonna reopen the job application.
I think
Advertisements.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm gonna. If anyone from upper management asks, we'll just tell them that the doll's doing fine.
Yeah, it's working out great. A real contribution to the team.
We'll just leave it under the table and then forget all about it. We have on our hands a full-scale emergency, Conrad.
Again? It seems like there's another emergency every week with this place.
Well, this isn't a regular emergency. This is DEF-CON fucked, okay? Now, make sure you are sat firmly in your seat.
My ass cheeks are as planted as they can possibly be. I'm
root.
Prepared. My sphincter is clenched.
Absolutely. Create a vacuum between your anus and the seat, because otherwise you'll fly right off. Richard Dawkins is tweeting again.
Again?
Yes. I'm sorry. I've tried everything I can to stop it. I've tried to stem the tide, but this is starting to present a real problem for us as his representatives. He won't stop, Conrad.
It's abundantly clear to anyone who's looking that whenever he gets on Twitter, he comes off like an idiot.
I know. I wouldn't mind him using Twitter if he just stuck to what he knows. Like, I don't even believe in evolution and science and all this, all that hoity-toity highfalutin stuff that he's into, what's it called, that book that lot worship, Origin of the Species? I mean, it's a good fairy tale, but whatever. He at least sounds smart when he sticks to that, when he talks about that science stuff. But he has opinions on things he shouldn't be having an opinion on. He's like just talking about what was it yesterday? He was criticizing dogs.
He's criticizing dogs.
He said their sense of smell is too keen. He says
their sense of
why is it so keen? Why are they so eager to smell things? And then he just did hashtag Islam ?
Dogs are keen to smell things, and that equals Islam?
Everything does with him. Everything does. He didn't like the second season of True Detective as much as the first one, and he somehow found a way to blame that on Muslims.
So, we've explained this to him, right? He knows that he's nuts to tweet.
Right. First of all, I tried a simple reward method. I said, right, I'll let you tweet for the week. If you can go a week just tweeting about your science, just like taking pictures of your food, talking about the weather. If you can go a week without upsetting any kind of minority, without upsetting women, without just saying something that makes you look like a socially incompetent boob, then we'll say no more about it. Have your phone back, tweet as much as you want. That very same day, he was back on it again. He started saying that frogs don't have legs. He said, frogs don't have legs, that's a liberal conspiracy.
But frog legs are delicious.
He said that they're invented. They're invented by feminists to make a point about the patriarchy. And when someone asked him what that point was, he simply said, look, there are frogs in Africa who don't have any food, so let's focus on that instead of issues that don't matter. Hashtag first world problems, hashtag Islam.
See, it's just bizarre to me because he's typically so right on the money in regards to biology. To say something like frogs don't have legs,
yeah,
it's completely out of character.
It makes no sense, but we just can't stop him tweeting. He gets on Twitter, he upsets someone, we have to clean up the mess.
So why haven't we just taken his phone away from him?
We have! I took his phone away from him. Not 3 weeks ago, I took his phone away from him, and I said, if you can't be trusted with a phone, you are not having a phone. That very same day, later on, tweeting. Fucking
What? How did he do that?
fucking broadband at home, innit? He's one of those ones that have broadband at home.
He has a home computer.
The wily, sly bastard.
Oh, we should have seen that coming.
I honestly,
all right.
it blindsided us. He threw us a curveball, but we caught the ball anyway. Went round there disconnected, took his computer away from him, said, "You know what? You can't be trusted with a computer." He protested, but I said, "You pay us to do what's best for you. This is what's best for you. No computer at home, no internet connection, no phone, no Twitter. People will keep thinking you're smart."
But he's still tweeting.
He tweeted the very next day. Internet cafe.
Wait, those still exist?
There are two in Boston. He was trying to switch between the two so that we couldn't track him down. So we did the only thing that a reasonable PR firm could do, and we burned both of those internet cafes down to the ground. Now, I don't want to have to burn down every single ISP in the country, but that's as far as I'm prepared to go if it has to go that far. And it may do, because how he's still tweeting now is beyond my scope. I eventually gave up. I took the man's clothes off.
That's deeply unsettling as an image.
I undressed him. It took a long time. Stripped bare. Took his long johns off. Took his many petticoats off. Even took his sock garters down. Put him in a small cell. You know, the cell we normally keep Craig in.
Right.
Put him in the Craig box. You know, there's a small window. Food is slid under, like what they did with Natalie Portman in V for Vendettas. Somehow, the very not less than 2 hours after he went in the Craig box, go check out Twitter. He's on Twitter. Well, the boy wanted to get himself arrested. He made the clock look like a bomb on purpose, and we open up the fucking door of his cell. He's got a phone.
Oh, did you cavity search him?
I cavity search every single one of our clients that I undress, Conrad. I am fastidious on that. I insist upon it. I go up to the elbow on that shit. I cleared him. I cleaned him out. There was nothing in, up, around, near that man when he walked barefoot and wet into that cell.
And yet, still wound up with a phone in the cell.
And yet manifested a phone. We've checked the room for secret compartments. The bars in the window are too thin even for an iPod Nano to get through. So how he got a phone in, I do not know. And he's got one of those phablets as well. So there was no way that was getting in.
So what can we do? I mean, short of just destroying Twitter, I can't think of any way we haven't attempted to get Richard Dawkins to not tweet.
Well, I tried logic on him. I was like, you don't believe in the supernatural, you don't believe in the spiritual, and yet how can you explain the manifestation of a phone? How have you turned pure air into circuitry and broadband connection?
That does sound like some kind of divine intervention.
Yeah.
It's almost as if there is a deity out there that wants Richard Dawkins to tweet.
Some sort of, I hesitate to use the word God.
Well, you certainly don't want to use it around Richard.
No, not at all. He kicks off. I mean, I was talking about Pogs the other day. I was challenging Dorothy in the office to a game of Pogs, and he thought I said God, and then he threw all my Pogs out the window.
Just threw him out the window.
He's a wanker, if I'm honest.
He seems like a dick.
It seems to me there is no way we can stop him from tweeting. But I think I may have come up with a solution to fix the problem.
I'm listening.
We convince him Twitter's done. It's old-fashioned. The kids aren't into it anymore. We transition him to Ello.
So, I did want to ask you, Jim, when I came in this morning...
Now, don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay.
I noticed that the elevators were out again, And at the bottom of the shaft in the basement, there seemed to be a large anvil
Yep.
of some kind
Yep.
on top of the elevator.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's in line with what I have seen as well. So you're not imagining it.
Okay, all right. So that's good because every once in a while, you come into the building and you get one of those hallucinations and you're not sure.
Well, I mean, that was the senior partners' idea, the Quaalude gas. It helps the day go by quicker,
No argument there.
But sometimes you do see, shall we say, spectral manifestations. But no, that is a genuine anvil that's been dropped from the elevator shaft there.
Okay. I mean, I guess the next question is, why is there an anvil on top of the elevator? Do you know the answer to this?
Right.
Or did that just happen?
Right, when I said don't get mad?
Right, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you basically promised on your mother's life that you wouldn't.
That's not exactly how I remember it, but...
Well, that's the words I'm going to hold you to. So Miley Cyrus,
Ugh.
Don't get mad.
I'm not mad yet.
Miley Cyrus has had an idea.
Normally, had I not promised, as I did, or at least as you claim I did, this would be the point at which I fly into an uncontrolled rage.
I know.
But I'm going to keep my word here, Jim.
And I appreciate that. And I appreciate the patience you've shown me as I deal with Miley Cyrus's peculiar whims in the only way I know how, which is to just let her do it because I think she's onto something.
And what do you think she's onto this time?
The Roadrunner.
Okay, like the little flightless bird that runs around the American Southwest?
The exact same flightless bird that runs around the American Southwest. Now, she doesn't know that much. She doesn't know as much as I know about the Roadrunner as a species. In fact, that one sentence is all I know about the Roadrunner as a species, and she knows less than that. But she is determined to catch one. And that is why you may have noticed that there are various holes that have been melted through our office floor with hydrochloric acid, and some loose leaf coverings over the top of those holes with some birdseed on top and a sign that says free bird seed.
Okay,
If it's any consolation, Craig fell in one of them.
that is a consolation.
Sprained his
though...
ankle. He's still in there. We've been laughing and throwing peanuts down at him.
Okay, so you've found a positive. I won't argue that. But I do think that the chickens are a little bit agitated, seemingly very concerned. This feed has only been designated for Roadrunner consumption. And they're really upset. They're threatening to unionize.
You tell the chickens to fuck off. We don't technically employ those chickens. They just turned up in the office one day.
That's all well and good until you're staring down a herd of 40 chickens that are clucking angrily in your general direction and stopping you from leaving your office.
Well, I'm not worried about the chickens.
They're not outside your office.
Well, good. I wouldn't want them outside my office. I imagine I'd be really concerned if they were. But that's
I am a
besides
little
the point.
concerned about it.
I've got another positive for you. You know how every morning your car has ended up destroyed because you've been trying to drive through a tunnel that was just painted on?
I did notice that, yes.
Well, now you know the reason. So that's a positive.
So, the tunnel that has been directing us to the new underground parking on the side of the building that I have repeatedly driven into.
I'm surprised you fell for it that many times.
Day on day, I just sort of figured, oh, this happened overnight. Kept driving into it. You mean to tell me that Miley Cyrus has been coming in the middle of the night and repainting the damage to the wall so that I can drive yet another rental car into it? Avis is furious with me.
I've got to correct you there. Miley Cyrus has not been repainting over the damage to the wall so that you keep smashing into it. Wile E Cyrus, on the other hand, has.
Oh, so this is literally, this whole Roadrunner escapade is just another means for her to rebrand her musical career?
You're in the right ballpark. But I do think Wile E Cyrus is pretty catchy. I mean, not not as catchy as her because she's been doing a lot of catching. Not of Roadrunners specifically. Like I said, she doesn't know anything about them. In fact, I don't think she knows anything about the source material she's quasi-plagiarizing because she keeps telling me she's going to catch that wascally Roadrunner.
That's not even close to right.
It's not close to right at all. But she has been tackling joggers in the park.
Okay. I mean, that's...
Just spearing them like Rhino from the wrestling. Just like smashing. She drove one into a lake the other day. Person couldn't swim. They almost drowned.
But she caught him.
But she caught him, and that's a success.
Did we want to explain that this is actually a bird that she should be getting? Or are we just going to let her continue to torment joggers? Because, I mean, I'm okay with tormenting joggers.
To be honest, I find joggers annoying. They remind me that I'm not taking care of my own body, and I hate to see them put in effort where I'm not putting in effort. So I have just been enjoying sitting in the park, like clapping delightedly while she, like, quite viciously gores various runners and people who are trying to better themselves, and children, and one goose, which was close to a roadrunner, but it bit her on the tit.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like a prank show.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, if you're gonna be out there watching Miley Cyrus viciously disembowel joggers, get that shit on film. We package up about 12 or so of them, can sell it on her celebrity status to, I don't know, FX? Just something to fill out next year's summer schedule.
That works. Have it on right after 1,000 Ways to Die.
Here's the 1,001st.
FistShark marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chand. Our editor is Alan Smithy. Get more episodes and learn how to help support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, there's no shame in failure. It's success you should be concerned with. Goodbye.